I'm feeling good.
So what we're going to cover now is candlesticks. Just going to go over some real Billy basics in this session, just to give you a really good overview so you understand. And then in the next section, we're going to go a little bit more advanced, with some more advanced candles, patterns, and also some live examples to bring it to life to really sort of help you with your trading. Now, candlesticks came about by a guy called Homer in the 17th century. He was a rice trader. And basically what he realised is that the price action reflects market psychology. So this guy was way advanced. And what it allowed him to do was pick the premium buy and sell times to make the maximum profit. And you can see here, equivalent of $10 billion in today's money. So he was very successful, very ahead of his time. So when you start looking at candlesticks, you can see red ones, you can see green ones, you can have long lines, short lines, all these type of things. And it can be quite confusing to start off with. So hopefully this next example will just bring it to life to allow you to understand why the candles appear and why the bodies and the lines are so big or small. So if you get a green candle, if the close is higher than the open. And what I mean by that is, on the day, it opens at $1. And by the end of the day, it closes at $1.05. That means there's been a gain, therefore it is a green candle. And then the lines mean that that's the trading range of that day. So what that would mean is that potentially on that day, the low was 95 cents and at the high, it was $1.10. So you put that all together in one big picture, you can see that there was quite a big trading range, and the open and close were actually fairly quite close to each other. But if you'd bought on that day and sold on that day, you could have potentially made a good profit. When you get a red candle, it's the same, but it's in reverse. So the key thing to point out here is that it opens at $1.50, and by the end of the day, it closes at $1.25. As you can see, I've made up some trading ranges here. And obviously the candles, the lines would be slightly longer than that. But basically gives you the overview of why you get a red candle and a green candle. So here the close is lower than the open. It's really that simple, and that dictates the green or the red candle. Now another thing that to watch out for is a doji. Now dojis are very important because they indicate a level of indecision in the marketplace. So there's about 5 or 6 I'm just going to go through just to give you a bit of an idea of what to watch out for. And when these appear, then that will give you, I normally just step back, start looking at smaller time frames, because with what we've looked at, you can look at the candlesticks at different time ranges. So you can look at a day, an hour, a week, a month, all the way down to about 5 minutes. So it gives you a real good idea and indication of what's happening and what the trend is doing. Depending on how volatile the market is, depends on what time frame you look at. So I would say if you're day trading, I look at 30 minutes and 5 minutes. And if you're longer term trading, medium term, I'd look at probably 30 minutes and 4 hours. And for long term stuff, I'd just look at days and weeks. So with candlesticks, so we've got the Doji star. So that opens and closes at roughly about the same level on the day. So there wasn't really much movement, wasn't much price action that day. Then on a long-legged doji, we see that sentiment was a lot higher and a lot lower, but again, it just closes where it opens. So a lot of indecision, a lot of buying and selling throughout that day. Then you get spinning tops. So they're very similar to what we've just seen, apart from the closes and the opens, there's a little bit of a difference. So it could be like $1 and finishes at $1.01. But there's still a lot of indecision in terms of the buying and selling on those days. The next one is a dragonfly, and a dragonfly opens and closes at the top, but it has real highs and lows in that day. So it goes all the way down. So people are selling all day, and then there's lots of buys which bring it back to where it opened. Then we have the gravestone. So the gravestone opens at the bottom good rise throughout the day, and then a massive sell-off, and it ends up back at the open position before. So a lot of people refer to this as sending the troops out. The troops go out to fight, they're doing really well, and then they start getting beat up, and they end up going back to base, and they end up at the open again. So those are the key dojis to watch out for. And there's some rules with dojis. So the first one is a doji is a sign of indecision. So if you see one and you just jump in, you're making a bit of a gamble. What you want to see is some either bearish or bullish pattern that follows to give you the signal to either buy or to sell. If you see a doji at the top, it's definitely a time to sell. So I know I said I wasn't going to talk about some advanced stuff now, but here is the rules of thumb. If you see a doji at the top, then it's time to sell. A doji at the bottom needs bullish confirmation to show the trend. So when you see a doji at the bottom, you want to see what the next candle is before you really start to make any decisions. If you just jump in, you're trying to guess what's going to happen. If you get a green candle, and depending on the pattern, it could indicate, you know, a big rush up, or if it's a red one, a rush down. And always pay attention when a doji appears, because it really sort of, that indecision could go either way, and you just need the next pattern or candle to tell you what's going to happen next. So that's pretty much candlesticks basics. We're going to move into the advanced section next, where we're going to look at some advanced patterns, candlesticks, and the key times to buy and sell with some live examples. If you liked today's video, please leave a like or a comment. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or check out the new ICO Discount Club website, where you can check out all the new ICOs, great discounts, and also prize giveaways. As always, I hope you got great value out of today's video, and I'll catch you on the next one soon.
I'm feeling